Good morning and welcome to UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. Today we're going to have a special service from the Social and Environmental Justice Committee dealing with Guest at Your Table. One other announcement is that the Social and Environmental Justice Committee has purchased a Black Lives Matter banner, or a sign rather, and that is placed out in front of the church. If there are any other announcements, please feel free to add them to the chat. Now we will enter a space of worship.
Okay, so for today, we have the Chalice Lighting brought to you in English and Spanish by Megan Cabral.
Hello, my name is Megan, and I'm going to lead our chalice lighting today. If you have a chalice at home, please grab it and get ready to light it with us. I'm going to recite the chalice lighting words in Spanish first and then in English. Nos reunimos en este momento como un pueblo de fe, con alegrías y tristezas, talentos y necesidades. Encendemos esta luz, faro de la esperanza, símbolo de nuestra búsqueda de verdad y el significado de las cosas, celebrando la vida que compartimos juntos. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Sunday worship service focused on introducing Guest at Your Table. Guest at Your Table is an annual initiative of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. And this year's theme is home. So what we plan to do for you today is share a selected reading and a sermon that was pre-recorded, and invite you all to join us in spending the next 2 to 3 weeks thinking about the folks affected by unrest in their countries, situations that make it difficult to live there and stay there, and the organizations that are doing a lot of work to try to improve those conditions. One thing that Unitarian Universalist Service Committee tries to do is focus on locally organized and run groups to act as partners for their work around the world. So I'd like to share with you this reading called We Refugees by Benjamin Zephaniah. I come from a musical place where they shoot me for my song, and my brother has been tortured by my brother in my land. I come from a beautiful place where they hate the shade of skin. They don't like the way I pray, and they ban free poetry. I come from a beautiful place where girls cannot go to school, where you are told what to believe, and even young boys must grow beards. I come from a great old forest. I think it is now a field, and the people I once knew are not there now. We can all be refugees. Nobody is safe. All it takes is a mad leader or no rain to bring forth food. We can all be refugees. We can all be told to go. We can be hated by someone for being someone. I come from a beautiful place where the valley floods each year, and each year the hurricane tells us that we must keep moving on. I come from an ancient place. All my family were born there, and I would like to go there, but really, I want to live. I come from a sunny, sandy place where tourists go to darken skin, and dealers like to sell guns there. I just can't tell you what's the price. I am told I have no country now. I am told I am a lie. I am told that modern history books may forget my name. We can all be refugees. Sometimes it only takes a day. Sometimes it only takes a handshake or a paper that is signed. We all came from refugees. Nobody simply just appeared. Nobody's here without a struggle. And why should we live in fear of the weather or the troubles? We all came here from somewhere. We'll now all join in our opening hymn.
We are a community that holds one another in our celebrations and our pain. Please share your joys and sorrows in the chat box if you're on Zoom. If you are on YouTube, please know that your joys and sorrows are shared with all. We hold close the pain of loved ones, family, friends who are going through health crises. But we also share the joy of seeing family, whether in person or via Zoom or other video chat. We carry all of these together and share in the joys and those sorrows. Now is the time in our service where we join together in the spiritual practice of giving. If you would like to give this morning to this morning's offering, the link is in the chat. Otherwise, you can write a check to the church In either case, note that you would like this gift to go to either this Sunday's offering 100% or to be shared with our service partner, which this month is Ganondagan Historic Park.
And between now and December 20th, if it's easier for you to donate online instead of collecting quarters in the usual box at home, you can also indicate on a check or by donating at the same link that you would like to make a donation to Guest at Your Table. So usually the program runs for about 2 weeks, just in case we have any late starters and to give a little bit of extra time before we hit the December holiday season. We'll consider our donation period for this year between today and December 20th, about 3 weeks. Okay. So we will now move to Pat for some centering words.
To introduce our time for shared silence today, we will do a responsive reading. These words are attributed to Chief Noah Sealth of the Squamish people of the Northwest. Please join me. We belong to the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth.
This we know. All things are connected like the blood which unites one family.
All things are connected.
Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth.
We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it.
Whatever we do
To the web.
we do to ourselves.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the air, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Because of the magic of Zoom allowing us to bring people together from across a distance, we're able to hear today's recommended service directly from its author, Reverend Laura Randall. As Associate Director of Development for Congregation Relations at UUSC, Reverend Laura Randall facilitates partnerships to strengthen the impact of UUSC and the social justice reach of UU communities. Through preaching, teaching, relationship building, and fundraising, Laura connects the work of UUSC to Unitarian Universalist congregations. Prior to joining UUSC, Laura's denominational work included serving as the Legacy Campaign Director for the Wake Now Our Vision Collaborative Campaign and as the Legacy Gifts Manager for the Unitarian Universalist Association. Laura's ministry has also included hospice chaplaincy and Alzheimer's education and advocacy. Laura holds a master's degree in divinity from Harvard Divinity School and a bachelor's degree in English and Communication Studies from Alfred University.
There is a large stain on the bathroom ceiling, peeling wallpaper in the bedroom, and the linoleum witnessed the Nixon administration. My home is filled with creaks, clutter, and too much dog hair, and I love it. I know my family and I are among the most privileged in the world right now. I have work and the ability to do that work from home. I have running water, electricity, and the space outside for a few raised vegetable beds. In some ways, my physical world has gotten so very small in these last months. Seeing the same rooms and the same patch of earth so consistently, unceasingly, is a new experience for me. The urge to go somewhere, anywhere, is strong. And yet, I've never had more appreciation for the space my family and I call home. These unremarkable walls keep us warm and hold all the gratitude and anxiety these times have created in us. With all the uncertainty and upheaval surrounding us now, I've never been more aware of the importance of home, the importance of a place of shelter, stability, and belonging. Not all of us have this experience of home. For some of us, home is or was anything but stable and welcoming. Home can be dangerous. And I know there are some of us who work essential jobs who've had to leave their homes to keep their families safe from this virus. There are also those of us for whom that kind of separation isn't an option, and therefore whole families are bearing the risk of exposure. Some of us never feel safe in our homes, knowing that at any moment, state agents could burst through the door to arrest us or kill us. And then there are the many of us who find ourselves in the liminal space of no permanent home at all. Home is complicated. It is a place and it is a longing. It is a physical structure and it is a community of people. It is an anchor and an imagined ideal. Home is a fundamental necessity and an evolving act of creativity. Home is the foundation upon which we build our lives and the outcome of countless generative acts of love and repair. The work of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, or UUSC, is fundamentally about home in so many ways. This has been true since our founding 80 years ago, when the Unitarian Service Committee partnered with Jewish refugees and political dissidents in Europe in an effort to get as many people fleeing the Nazi regime as possible to safety. Today, our work focuses on climate-forced displacement, crisis response, and migrant justice. These issues may seem unrelated at first glance, but they are, at their core, all about home. The right to security within our homes, the right to restore our homes when they've been ravaged by natural or human-made disaster, and the right to seek a new home elsewhere. The 4 UUSC partners highlighted in this year's Guest at Your Table program each share stories that are primarily about the homes they are fighting for. Be that the villages they are trying to salvage from the effects of climate change, the communities they are trying to hold together as they navigate disaster and persecution, or the necessity of finding a new place to call home away from unremitting violence and economic devastation.
Chief Sherelle Parfait Dada, Chief of the Grand Kalu Dulek Band of the Biloxi Chitimacha Choctaw Tribe in southern Louisiana, has been advocating for her community for as long as she can remember. She has seen the land her tribe calls home drastically change in her lifetime as rising sea levels, oil and gas extraction, and natural disasters have claimed homes and destroyed the farmlands her tribe depends on for sustenance. Recently, Chief Sherelle joined with other First Nations and Indigenous peoples facing similar losses and damages and risks of climate displacement to take their fight all the way to the United Nations. Chief Sherelle explains, "We have joined together with our Alaska Native relatives to bring awareness to the damages caused by greed and selfishness with a complete disregard for Mother Earth and all living beings. We are showing the world that you do not have to just sit by and watch our planet, our health, and lifeways be destroyed." Thousands of miles away, Mark Steggy, climate researcher with UUSC partner organization Joe Jiggum, is working on similar climate issues facing communities in the Marshall Islands. As a native Marshallese and an Indigenous scientist, Mark is committed to centering his people's knowledge, experiences, and wisdom in understanding and addressing the impacts that the climate crisis is affecting on their home. Collaboration is key to handling complexity, and so I've been motivated to develop the tools for collaboration by sharing and adopting both Western and Indigenous knowledge to promote innovation and identity, says Mark. Just as UUSC partners with those to save their homes, we also partner with those who have been forced to find a new home elsewhere.
Since 2017, over 700,000 Rohingya Muslims from the Rakhine State in Burma have been forced to flee their homes into neighboring countries due to the genocide perpetrated by the Burmese military. Suja Karimuddin was compelled to escape his home as a teenager after being detained and tortured by Burmese state officials. Suja struggles with a longing to return to his homeland, but has found strength within the Rohingya diaspora community, knowing that even in the depths of loss, they can be a bit of home for one another. We try to build that sense of community wherever we are, wherever we live, Suja says. Towards that end, Suja co-founded the Elam Empowerment Community Center, now a UUSC partner organization. Elam Empowerment is a Rohingya-led community center based in Malaysia that conducts youth capacity building trainings and facilitates food distribution for Rohingya refugees in and around Kuala Lumpur. According to Suja, the goal of Elam Empowerment is to provide a safe space for Rohingya refugees to come and breathe, a space where they can come and feel free.
Many Central American migrants are seeking a place they can feel free as well. Residents of Central American countries such as Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua are still dealing with the aftermath of intense civil wars, some of which lasted decades, and which targeted the indigenous communities of those countries along with poor farmers. To this day, extractive mining and drilling industries, drought exacerbated by climate change, and deadly domestic and state-sponsored violence are forcing people from their homes and across borders. Women, LGBTQI+ people, and indigenous communities are particularly vulnerable to these factors that lead people to have to build a home elsewhere. Adela Ramirez, a human rights advocate with UUSC's partner in Guatemala, Asociación Popnoch, says, "The majority of people here live in conditions that are not good, and poverty prevents them from fully living their lives. People cross the border in search of new opportunities for their families. That is why we at Popnoch always say that migrating is an act of love."
Migration is an act of love. And this act of love is being met by increasing cruelty and xenophobia by the United States. Decades of draconian and deadly U.S. immigration policies are culminating in crowded detention centers, which provide ideal breeding grounds for COVID-19, a near complete dismantling of the asylum system, the destruction of a humanitarian aid station in the Arizona desert by Border Patrol agents, the dismantling of due process and deportation proceedings, and still the continuation of family separation. Not only are these actions cowardly, hard-hearted, and small-minded. They are also a fundamental denial of a truth that could not be clearer. We are all connected. Those of us privileged enough to currently have relatively safe and stable homes are reflecting on the centrality of such places in our lives, especially now. Does the possibility of losing this home seem as distant as it once did? Can we imagine the results of climate change making our homes uninhabitable in the near future? Or what about government policies making it impossible to stay? This is already the reality for some of us. And for others of us, these potentialities no longer seem improbable. This is a lot to take in. The question now is, can we channel this uncertainty, this fear, into empathy and commitment? Can we approach these challenges with a spirit of collaboration and determination? Can we recognize our interdependence enough to realize that our homes, our health, and our lives are all inexorably connected? I think we can. We must. Remember poet Benjamin Zephaniah's words. We can all be refugees. Sometimes it only takes a day. Sometimes it only takes a handshake or a paper that is signed. We can all become refugees. Nobody simply just appeared. Nobody's here without a struggle. And why should we live in fear of the weather or the troubles? We all came here from somewhere. Nobody simply just appeared. We all came from somewhere. This earth is our home. Some of us live on the same patch of land our ancestors called home for millennia. Others of us have called this land home for a few generations, if that. Some of us long for a distant home we remember from our youth, and others of us have always lived in the town we now call home. Regardless of the miles between us, this earth is our home. The distress of our planet and the turmoil of our societies, these are the circumstances we find ourselves in, regardless of what we wish were true instead. Our relationships to our homes have dramatically intensified this year. Do we have the courage to turn that intensity into compassion? Can we feel, not just know, but feel the primacy of the value that everyone, everywhere, has the right to self-determination and safety in their homes? Some essential part of everyone longs for a sense of peace, a sense of belonging, a sense of rightness that can be described in no way other than home. At UUSC, we will continue to honor that longing and fight for the right of people to claim, create, and be home. I want to lift up Chief Sherelle, Mark, Suja, and Adela once again. I want to acknowledge both the loss and the resilience in their stories. What home means is changing and evolving for many of us. With courage, imagination, and determination, the home we help co-create with all of Earth's people will be one of more kindness, more gratitude, and more justice. Please join me in saying, Amen and blessed be.
Thank you all for the work you do and love you share as we strive to make this world a better place for all who live here. From our work to fight the negative effects of climate change to supporting social justice issues, both here and around the world. We are a great and loving community, bringing up all of those around us. As the world changes and some people unfortunately do need to leave their homes, we hope that you will, within your home and your communities, encourage others to have open hearts, open minds, and open doors as we bring in the global community and help share all that we have. There's no place like home, and we are grateful here for all that we have. We will now gather in our closing hymn.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, on right up the road, and I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call out, brother, when you need a hand. You all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem, and you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just call out, my sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I might just have a problem, and you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on.
Okay, and we will be going back to Megan Cabral for our chalice extinguishing.
extinguish the chalice. Again, I'll say the words in Spanish first and then in English. Apagamos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de compromiso. Esto lo llevamos en el corazón hasta encontrarnos otra vez. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.